In this video, you will learn how to multiply a number by a 3-digit number and also how to perform mental calculations using the distributive property. So to multiply by a 3-digit multiplier, we need to first know how to multiply by a 1 or a 2-digit multiplier. So if you're still struggling with any of those concepts, make sure you go back and review how to do multiplication with 1 or 2 digits. Because what we're doing today with 3-digit multipliers is really the same thing, but we're going to add one extra line of numbers. So what we have here is 257 times 639 for example 1. All right, so to do this, all right, we're going to take this 9, the 3, and the 6 and multiply it by the 257 up here. So just like with 2 digits, we're going to go through the same process where you multiply each of these digits down here by the number on the top. So you begin by multiplying the 9 by 257. So that is step 1. And when you do that, you take 9 times 7, 9 times 5, and then 9 times 2. 9 times 7 is 63. So we take the 3 from 63 and put it down here. And then we carry the 6 up here. And now we repeat with 9 times 5. So we have 9 times 5, which is 45. Then we add the 6 that we carried. And 45 plus 6 is 51. So we take the 1 from 51 and we put it down here. And the 5 we carry up to the next column. And now we do 9 times 2, which is 18. And then we add the 5 that we carried over. And 18 plus 5 is 23. So now we put 23 up here at the beginning. So the first line, we have 2, 3, 1, 3 for the digits. And now we can repeat again with the 3. So we take this 3 and multiply it by the 7, the 5, and the 2. Now keep in mind this 3 is in the tens place, so that is actually 30. So what we're doing really is multiplying 257 times 30. So to do that, we have to put a 0 here first, because 30 has a 0 at the end. So we put a 0 here to account for that. And then we can multiply the 3 by the 7, the 5, and the 2 up on the top. 3 times 7 is 21. So we take the 1 from 21, put it down here, and then carry the 2 up to the next column. And then we repeat. We do 3 times 5, which is 15. And then we add the 2 that we carried, and that gives you 17. So we take the 7 from 17, we put it down here, and then we carry the 1 up to the next column. And then we repeat again. 3 times 2, and then plus the 1. So when you add those, we get 7. So 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 gives you 7. That goes right here. So we have multiplied the 9 by 257, the 3 by 257, and now we multiply the 6 right here by 257. So the 6 is in the hundreds place, so that is actually 600. All right, so what we're doing really is we're doing 257 times 600. Well, 600 has 2 zeros, right? So we have to put 2 zeros down here on this third row before we begin multiplying. So put 2 zeros here and then repeat by multiplying 6 by the 7, 6 times 5, and 6 times 2. 6 times 7 is 42. So we take the 2 from 42, we put it down here, and then we carry the 4 up to the next column. And then we do 6 times 5, which is 30. And then we add the 4. That gives you 34. So we take the 4, put it down here, and the 3 from 34 we put up in the next column. And now we do 6 times 2, which is 12. And then we add the 3 that we carried, and 12 plus 3 is 15. So we now write the 15 up here in the front. So now we have 3 different rows of numbers. So at this point, just like with a 2-digit multiplier, we're going to add each of these numbers. So we add those 3 numbers, those 3 big numbers, 3 rows that we have. And so when you do that, we add the first 1's digit column. We have 3 plus 0 plus 0. That gives you 3. Then we add the next column, 1 plus 1 plus 0. That gives you 2. Next column is 3 plus 7 plus 2. That gives you 12. So we take the 2 from 12, put it here, and the 1 we carry up to the next column. And now we add 1 plus 2, which is 3. 3 plus 7 is 10. 10 plus 4 is 14. So we take the 4 from 14, put it here, and the 1 we carry to the next column. 1 plus 5 is 6. Then you have a 1 in the front. So we have 1, 6, 4, 2, 2, 3. And that would give you, with your comma put in there, that gives you 164,223. So that is the process of multiplying with 3-digit multipliers. So we're going to give you one more example. This is example 2, and it's going to be 999 times 2.34. Now we learned in the previous lesson that with a decimal point, we actually just multiply like normal all through the beginning process. And the decimal point we just ignore until the final end of the problem. All right, so we can just multiply this as if we're doing 999 times 234. All right, and then we can take care of the decimal at the end. So the process will be the same that we did over here for example 1. So you can try this one on your own if you want, and then see how you do. When you do this, we begin with multiplying the 4 by 999. Then we're going to multiply the 3, then you're going to multiply the 2. So if we do 4 times 999, we would do 4 times 9, that gives you 36. We take the 6 from 36, put it here, and the 3 we carry up to the next column. Now we do 4 times 9 plus 3, so that's 36 plus 3, that gives you 39. So we take the 9 from 39, put it down here, and then the 3 we can carry up to the next column. Now we have 4 times 9, which is 36, plus the 3 that we carried. That again would give you a 39. So we put 39 here in the front. So we've multiplied the 4 by 999. Next we multiply the 3 by 999. So again, we're just multiplying like normal, as if this was multiplying by 234. So we ignore the decimal for now. So the 3, if you're ignoring the decimal, the 3 is like in the tens place. So what you're doing is 999 times 30. So because of that, you put a 0 right here on this row, or this column. All right, so put a 0 right here. And then we multiply the 3 by 999. So 3 times the first 9 would be 27. We take the 7, put it here, and the 2 we carry up to the next column. Now we have 3 times this 9, which is 27, plus the 2, that gives you 29. So we take the 9 from 29, put it here, and the 2 we carry up to the next column. And then we multiply 3 by this third 9 right here. 3 times 9 is again 27, plus the 2 that we carried, that gives you 29 again. So we put 29 out here in the front. So we've multiplied the 4 by 999, multiply the 3 by 999, next we multiply the 2 by 999. So if we ignore the decimal, the 2 is like in the hundreds place. So what you're doing really is 200 times 999. So because we're multiplying by 200, we need to put 2 zeros out here at the end of this row. And then we multiply the 2 by the 9, and then the 9. Well, 2 times 9 is 18. So we take the 8 from 18, put it here, and then carry the 1 to the next column. Now we do 2 times 9, which is 18 again, plus the 1 that we carried. That gives you now 19. So we take the 9 from 19, put it here, and then we carry the 1 to the next column. Now we do 2 times this 9, which again is 18, plus the 1 that we carried. That gives you 19. So now you put 19 in the front like this. So now from here, just make sure all your digits are lined up. And now we can add all 3 of these big numbers from right to left. So we do 6 plus 0 plus 0. That gives you 6. 9 plus 7 plus 0 is 16. So we take the 6 from 16 and then carry the 1 right here. So we have 1 plus 9 is 10, plus another 9 is 19, plus 8 is 27. So we take the 7 from 27, carry the 2 to the next column. Now we have 2 plus 3, which is 5, plus 9 is 14. 14 plus 9 is 23. So we take the 3 from 23 and then carry it up here to the next column. Now we have 2 plus 2 plus 9, which is 13. So we take the 3 from 13, put it here, and then carry the 1 to the next column. Now we have 1 plus 1, which is 2. So the digits that we have are 2, 3, 3, 7, 6, 6. Now to finish off, we need to take care of the decimal point. So looking up here at the initial problem, we had 2 digits here, the 3 and the 4, after the decimal point, which means we need 2 digits here after the decimal point, which means our decimal point goes right here after the 7, so that the 6 and the 6 both are after the decimal point. So your final answer is going to be 2,337.66. And that is your solution for example 2. Now to finish off the lesson, we're going to talk about how we can use mental calculations to solve these different problems. And we're going to use the distributive property to do these mental calculations. So we've done this before with 2-digit numbers, right? Like 4 times 56 or something like that. The process with 3-digit numbers is going to be the same. So this is going to be helpful if we do like a 1-digit number times a 3-digit number. So for example, we do 5 times 352. What we can do here is, just like with a 2-digit problem, we can break apart the 352. So we can break it apart as 300, the 5 would be 50, and the 2 is 2. So we can write 352 as 300 plus 50 plus 2. Now from here we can use our distributive property, which says that we can distribute or share the number outside of the parentheses and then multiply it with each of these numbers, the 300, the 50, and the 2. So what we have is 5 times 300, and then plus we have 5 times the 50, and then plus we have the 5 times the 2. So what we've done is we've broken up this problem into 3 easier things to do mentally, because 5 times 300 is 1500, 5 times 50 is 250, 5 times 2 is going to be 10. Alright, so the goal is to try to do this in your head, but if you can't, that's fine. But we have 1000, and then 500 plus 250, we do 500 plus 200, that's 700, and then 750, we have 50 plus 10, that's 60. So your answer would be 1,760. So again, if you can't do that in your head, you could try to, write it out like this. But the goal is to be able to do as much of this as possible mentally. So if we do it this way, we'd have 0, 6, 7, 1. Let's try one more example and see if you can do this one on your own. And this one, we have 7 times 672. All right, so if you're trying to do this one by yourself, okay, see if you can help me fill in the blanks. All right, so we're going to have a number out here, times, and then we're going to have 3 numbers in the parentheses. So I'll kind of step you through it here. So what numbers would go on the outside? What number goes in the parentheses? Well, hopefully you have a 7 out here, and this should be 600, and then plus 70 plus 2. All right, so that's your first step. Okay, see if you can get the next step. We're going to have 3 parentheses. We're going to have a number times a number, another number times another number, and another number times another number. So see if you can fill in these blanks. So what you should have is 7 times 600, because what we're doing is we're multiplying 7 times each of these numbers. Right? 7 times 600, 7 times 70 would be the next 2 blanks, and then the last 2 blanks would be 7 times the 2. Alright, so that should be your next step. Now from here, see if you can get these blanks. So what should go in these 3 blanks? Well, if you do it correctly, 7 times 600, we would do 7 times 6, which is 42, then put 2 zeros at the end to be 4200. 7 times 70, we would do 7 times 7, which is 49, and then put a 0 at the end. That's 490. And then here, the last blank, we have 7 times 2, which is 14. All right, so this should be your next line. Now your final line is putting this all together. So what would go down here? So try to do this as best as you can in your head. If you cannot, you can write it out. But if we do all this added together, we have 4,000 something. We have 200 plus 490. 200 plus 400 is 600, right? And then we have 90 at the end. So we have 4,690, and then 90 plus 14. So 90 plus 10 would be 100 plus 4. So we have 104. So this is kind of weird. We have 104. So the 6 actually becomes 7 because we have another 100. 704. That one's kind of trickier to do in your head. Your answer, if you do it correctly, should be 4,704. You can verify that because if you write this out in columns like this, okay, if you add this together, we add the first column, 0 plus 4. Next column, 0 plus 9 plus 1 is 10. So we take the 0 from 10, carry the 1. 1 plus 2 plus 4 is 7, and the 4 in the front. So that one's kind of trickier to do in your head, but do make sure you understand the steps. And again, the goal is to do as much as you can of this mentally. So that's where the distributive property is going to help you. And by the way, even if you don't use this to perform mental calculations ever, you do need to know this distributive property because as you progress in your study of mathematics, you will definitely use this a lot in different areas of math, so not just with mental math. So do know the process, know the steps, and do the best you can to do as much of this in your head as possible. And that concludes our lesson for today. We will see you next time.